Former Supreme Court Judge Justice A.K. Ganguly stands exposed in a drastic move. Additional Solicitor General Indira Jaising has made public the law intern's sworn affidavit to the Supreme Court committee probing the harassment case. Details are shocking to say the least and describe in gory detail the harassment the intern had to put up with. The judge, a former Apex Court judge, however, remains defiant.
It was at this hotel where the alleged incident of sexual harassment took place, ironically less than a kilometer from the epicenter of the unprecedented Delhi gang rape and murder-related protests that Delhi witnessed in December 2012. Now, while in this case the criminal complaint with the Delhi police remains in suspended animation, Justice Ganguly continues as the chairman of West Bengal's Human Rights Commission. But with the sordid details of the victim's deposition now being made public, the pressure against Justice Ganguly is rising.
Disgraced, but defiant and still in denial. But voices against the retired Supreme Court judge are getting louder by the day, particularly after details emerged of the law intern's treatment at the hands of the former judge. Details released by the Additional Solicitor General Indira Jaising.
The judge informed me a report had to be submitted the next morning and asked me to stay in the hotel and work all night. I declined, but he ignored my protests and inquired whether a room could be booked for me at the same hotel. The judge apologized for spoiling my Christmas Eve and asked me if I wanted to have wine. He suggested I should go to his bedroom and relax while drinking some wine.
According to the affidavit, the Supreme Court judge did not stop there.
During dinner, the judge put his hand on my back and thanked me for agreeing to help him. I moved away, clearly indicating that his physical contact was unwelcome and not proper. By now, I was feeling threatened. The judge then approached me and put his hand on my hand and said, "You're very beautiful." I immediately rose from my seat, but he caught my hand and said, "You know that I'm attracted to you, don't you? I really like you. I love you." By now it was clear to me that the events were not innocuous in nature and that he was making unwelcome sexual advances. I quickly left the room, but the judge followed me to the elevator, repeatedly asking me to stay back. I left the hotel at 10:30 p.m. Next morning, I sent an SMS to him saying that after the previous night's incident, I could no longer work with him. He tried to contact me repeatedly, but I did not answer his calls.
If Delhi police do choose to take action, it will be Section 354 of the Indian Penal Code, read with Section 509 of the Indian Penal Code, which would make it verbal and non-verbal conduct of a sexual nature.
Meanwhile, Justice Ganguly remains defiant, refusing to quit his post as the chief of West Bengal Human Rights Commission. He also hit back at the ASG, saying how could a confidential affidavit meant only for the eyes of a Supreme Court committee be released by Indira Jaising.
It's the fact that prominent members of society chose to come out and speak in favor of Justice Ganguly. No less a person than the former Chief Justice of India has given him a character certificate. We've also had the former Speaker of the Lok Sabha support him. And here was this intern without any support.
Pressure is mounting against him and the Trinamool Congress, which is organizing all these protests right outside the West Bengal Human Rights Commission. They are determined that they are going to continue to put pressure on the West Bengal Human Rights Commission chairman so that he resigns from his post because they believe his position has now become untenable. With camera person Chitra Bhanu Pathak, Indrajit for Headlines Today in Kolkata.